Hello and welcome to another episode of Chronicles of Cricket. And today we're going to be talking about a blockbuster match played in front of only 750 people. Imagine India versus Pakistan in 1996, two of some of the best squads both India and Pakistan both had. The rivalry at its peak, but only 750 people came to watch that game. Saeed Anwar in his prime, Sachin Tendulkar at his prime, and only 750 people came to watch it. That's what this episode's about. You don't need to say anything else here, right? Because it's India and Pakistan. But just those three words are enough to send TV ratings flying and streets emptying and pulses rising on both sides of the border. But what if I told you that once the mega feature, the global cricketing spectacle, was played just in front of only 750 people? That's not a crowd, that's a WhatsApp group. It sounds unreal, right? But in 1996, during the Sahara Cup in Toronto, that's exactly what happened. It was Monday morning, rain in the forecast, and India versus Pakistan just felt like a Sunday league match in Oshiwara.
So it had kind of rained all weekend, and the series start had gotten delayed. The hype kind of fizzled before the start of the first match, and the match was rescheduled to a weekday, and people just didn't turn up. But imagine being one of the lucky 750 who did turn up for that particular match. You're sitting there with an umbrella, thinking whether this match may not even finish because of the weather. But suddenly, Saeed Anwar, he starts timing the ball like a dream. He was particularly in a very vintage form of his, if the flicks of his hip, the kind of lazy elegance that he has shown so many times against India. So he raced to 46 in no time. And it felt like Pakistan were about to post a really big score, a monster score. Even Ijaz was sticking along too very nicely with him. But then came the twist, the duo of Srinath and Kumble, who put on the pressure, and suddenly wickets started tumbling and Pakistan sort of lost their momentum. And they ended up with only 170 in 33 overs in a rain curtailed match. So it was almost like from fire to fizzle. So yeah, it was 170 in 33 overs, still a decent target to chase, but not as much as they had hoped to build on in the first innings. And then came Sachin in the second innings, and he was calm, composed, effortless, and he made a 89 off 89 balls, a classic Sachin Tendulkar innings in the 90s. He just glided through the innings.
Yeah, I remember that one. He just was like water, just flowed with pure class. And what I love most about that knock, he didn't force anything. It was just pure timing, pure class, 9 boundaries, 3 sixes. The drizzle stopped, but Sachin's class, it never did. With Azhar and Dravid alongside, India chased down the score with more than 3 overs to spare. It was actually clinical, cold, ruthless, and there were only 750 people to witness it live. Devjit, I played in packed stadiums, and I've also played in front of 20 people in my early years in club matches, where one of them, was your own kit bag. But this India versus Pakistan with a crowd that you can count on your hands, like literally, like that was surreal. Like to think about it, the lowest I probably played in front of was absolutely nobody. There's nobody watching the game. School match was going on. We played, generally it was the first rounds of a school tournament. And you think that this team would give a walkover because you've never heard of them playing cricket before. But they would turn up, and it would be, like almost like a pushover of a match. And then you'd score 100 and your team's clapping for you, and suddenly you hear a clap from the other side of the ground, and you turn around and look, and it's one of the parents saying, "Oh, well played, Robin," or something like that. But there's nobody else. I've played in front of, I think school cricket, you're playing in this. Back when we were playing school cricket, there was no one observing. But nowadays, there's a lot more than that, right?
How did this kind of work out in school cricket? So did the other students won't get their classes off, right, to watch the match? I mean, there's this famous scene in the MS Dhoni film where people come running to watch Dhoni bat in school. That probably...
I'll tell you my experience of playing in front of a crowd for the first time, right? As in, I think we had this very famous tournament in Bangalore called the Cottonian Shield. It was organized by the school called the Bishop Cotton. So the Cottonian Shield was an ICSE only cricket tournament for ICSE schools. and there was a huge rivalry between Bishop Cotton's and St. Joseph's. And there was a period of time, there was a huge rivalry also between Baldwin's Boys High School and St. Joseph Boys High School. So I remember we were playing a 3-match final against Baldwin's Boys High School, and because the schools, the administrators knew what a big game it is for both these schools, they allowed the entire school to actually come and watch the game, right?
Nice.
So we had so this is Bishop Cotton's. I remember there's one finals that we played by Bishop Cotton's versus St. Joseph Boys. So there's Bishop Cotton's. We're playing the finals in their school, so on their big field. So there's one side of the ground, like one half of the ground, all Cottonians, and the other side all Josephites, right? There must have been 3,000 from our school and about 5,000-6,000 from theirs from Cotton's, and they were watching the game. Huge crowd for school cricket, right? And especially for a school kid playing under 14 and under 16, playing in front of that crowd. It just got you going, man. Some people, like, you either thrived under that or you kind of wilted under that pressure, right? And I absolutely thrived under that pressure, man. It was a lot of fun playing in front of your peers from school, and everyone's cheering you on. The ones you get on with and the ones you don't get on with are rooting for you. So it's actually a lot of fun, and that was actually a really fun experience. But I don't know if you get to experience that a lot nowadays in school cricket in India or outside. But when we did, simpler times in the world, it actually was a lot of fun, man.
And hey, this was more crowd than this particular match that we are talking about.
For
with
sure.
Only 750. And it's funny, right? In these days, we fight over ticket apps crashing for an India-Pakistan game.
Yeah.
But back then, they were literally giving away tickets, and the stands were still almost empty. That's what makes this story kind of magical. Mind you, this is the 90s, where cricket is already very, very popular, and these players were already superstars. So this wasn't a very prehistoric match where there is like a lot of cricket has still yet to like catch the imagination of the crowd. This was at a peak cricket era, and still this was a match almost like in a different universe. There was Sachin, who was playing a masterclass, just crafting a gem, Saeed Anwar doing his thing, but it was like a backyard match between titans. And well, for those 750, they were witness to this kind of forgotten classic, and Sachin versus Saeed on a damp pitch in a quiet corner in Canada. We wouldn't probably list Canada as one of the iconic cricket venues, but it was happening there, and the greatest rivalry in cricket played almost like in a secret.
Yeah. So the next time someone complains the buzz is missing from an Asia Cup game, just tell them this. In 1996, India beat Pakistan in front of fewer people than a metro compartment in Mumbai. And Sachin, he played one of his coolest innings. It didn't need a crowd. It did not need drama. It just needed a bat, a ball, and a few artists at work. This is Chronicles of Cricket, where even the quietest cricket matches in the world have the loudest memories. We'll see you guys on the next one.